fabled heat, where magic meets desire. Subscribe to ignite the fantasy.
The teleportation array's hum vibrated through my bones, a tingling energy that settled deep within my core. The scent of ozone and burnt sage clung to the air in my workshop, a heady mix that always signaled a breakthrough or a disaster. I'd always been drawn to the forbidden corners of magical theory, the places where established rules dissolved into shimmering possibility. Tonight, I'd found that dissolution. As I stood there, the soft glow of the luminescent orbs that lined my workshop casting an ethereal light on my face, I felt a shiver run down my spine. The air was alive with anticipation, and I could taste the excitement on my lips. One more test, I breathed, my voice a hushed tremor, watching my breath cloud the glass of the containment tube. Inside rested a simple silver ring, its surface etched with runes copied from a crumbling 12th century grimoire. The grimoire, bound in worn leather and adorned with strange symbols, lay open on my workbench, its yellowed pages whispering secrets to me. I activated the twin arrays, one beneath the tube, the other across the room, and a pulse of energy enveloped the ring. It flickered, then duplicated. 2 identical rings clattered onto the receiver pads. A jolt of adrenaline surged through me, stealing my breath. Impossible. Teleportation moved objects, it didn't create them. I repeated the experiment, each time with a growing sense of disbelief. A quill, a dagger, a vial of dragonblood wine, each replicated perfectly. By dawn, my workbench was a chaotic landscape of mirrored objects, a testament to a defiance of arcane law. As the first light of morning crept into my workshop, I felt a sense of pride and trepidation. What had I unleashed upon the world? The days that followed were a blur of activity, as I struggled to comprehend the implications of my discovery. I spent hours poring over ancient texts, searching for any mention of similar phenomena. I experimented with the teleportation array, pushing its limits and testing its boundaries, and I tried to discreetly offload the surplus artificer's relics to pawn shops, hoping to avoid drawing attention to myself. But it was only a matter of time before the knock came, interrupting my attempts to cover my tracks. The envelope was sealed with crimson wax, bearing the sigil of the Round Table, a sword encircled by a serpent. To the sorceress of the shattered code, it began, "We are not here to punish you, but perhaps you could explain the sudden proliferation of 17 Excaliburs on the black market last Tuesday." My tea nearly choked me. The second knock was a brutal punctuation to my panic. I opened the door to find her, a figure sculpted from shadow and steel, clad in a tailored trench coat dusted with snow. Her eyes, the color of a winter storm, assessed me with a chilling precision. She leaned against the doorframe, a slow, deliberate smirk curving her lips. "Morgan Le Fay," she said, her voice a low, resonant drawl, "at your service, though I suspect you've been quite capable of serving yourself quite well, haven't you?" The air between us crackled with unspoken power. I felt a shiver run down my spine as she moved closer, her eyes never leaving mine. She was a force of nature, a storm that threatened to consume me, and yet I was drawn to her like a moth to a flame. She moved into my workshop the next day, ostensibly for observation, but her gaze lingered on my mouth, on the pulse point at my throat, on the way my hands trembled when I reached for a tool. It felt less like scrutiny and more like a slow, deliberate claiming. As the days passed, I found myself growing more and more aware of her presence. I could feel her eyes on me even when I wasn't looking. I could sense her power, her magic, calling to me like a siren's song, and I knew that I was in danger, that I was playing with forces beyond my control, but I couldn't help myself. I was drawn to her like a ship to a rocky shore, and I knew that I would crash upon those rocks again and again until I was nothing more than a shattered husk of my former self. "So, sorceress," she said, her voice low and husky, "tell me about your little discovery. What inspired you to push the boundaries of arcane law?" I swallowed hard, trying to find my voice. "I've always been drawn to the forbidden corners of magical theory," I said, my words barely above a whisper. "The places where established rules dissolve into shimmering possibility." She raised an eyebrow, her eyes glinting with amusement. "And what do you hope to achieve with this teleportation array of yours?" I took a deep breath, trying to calm my racing heart. "I hope to unlock the secrets of creation itself," I said, my voice filled with conviction. "To understand the underlying forces that shape our world." She laughed, a low, throaty sound that sent shivers down my spine. "You are ambitious, sorceress," she said. "I like that, but be warned, the secrets you seek to unlock are not for the faint of heart. Are you prepared to pay the price?" I hesitated, unsure of what lay ahead. But I knew that I couldn't turn back now. I had to see this through, no matter the cost. "I'm ready," I said, my voice firm, and with that I sealed my fate. The days that followed were a whirlwind of activity, as Morgan Le Fay and I delved deeper into the mysteries of the teleportation array. We experimented with different objects, testing the limits of the array and pushing its boundaries. And with each success, I felt myself becoming more and more entwined with Morgan, our bond growing stronger with each passing moment. It was as if we were two pieces of a puzzle, fitting together with perfect precision. And I knew that I would never be the same again, that I had been forever changed by the presence of this mysterious and powerful woman. As the nights drew in and the shadows deepened, I felt myself becoming lost in the depths of her eyes, and I knew that I was hers, body and soul. The world outside receded, and all that was left was the two of us, suspended in a sea of magic and wonder. And I knew that I would never be alone again, that I had found my partner, my friend, my lover. The teleportation array, once a tool of science and discovery, had become something more. It had become a symbol of our love, a reminder of the power that we shared. And as we stood there, surrounded by the trappings of our craft, I knew that nothing could ever tear us apart. We were two sorceresses, bound together by our love of magic and our love for each other, and nothing could ever break that bond.